Hope you're hungry because I'm serving up a heaping helping of alien barf in today's video. Bon appetit. Welcome to Sick Flicks, where I take a deep dive into the cinematic sewer to help you embrace your inner gore geek. I'm Mike Bracken, aka the Horror Geek, and today we're looking at Peter Jackson's gore comedy, Bad Taste. Released in 1987, Jackson's debut is an inventive and entertaining film filled with practical effects, slapstick humor, and a distinctive Kiwi charm. It's hard to believe that the guy who made this film would eventually go on to earn an Oscar for his work on the Lord of the Rings films. But for my money, early Peter Jackson is the best Peter Jackson. While not as gory as Dead Alive, there's still plenty of splatter in this one. Will it be enough to earn the 5 barf bag rating? Let's get to the gore and find out. The film opens with this shadowy figure formulating a response to an alien invasion.
I think this is a job for real men.
You mean like Schwarzenegger? Stallone? Jason Statham? Or this dude. Beggars can't be choosers, I guess. Barry's checking the perimeter, but this Dragon Ball Z reject is like, hey, hold up man, I need to ask you for directions. Barry keeps walking, and he's really pretty nonplussed about this dude stalking him with an axe. But when he's finally cornered, he goes all Dirty Harry and starts blasting.
The headshot's the only true stopper.
Thanks, disembodied voice. Guess Dirty Harry wasn't lying when he said the 44 Magnum would blow your head clean off. Although really, this is maybe more half off, but I'm not gonna quibble. On the hill above, this dude who looks like a Kiwi Rick Moranis is watching. This is Derek, played by director Peter Jackson. And in case you weren't sure what was going on here, he's gonna clue you in with some exposition.
There's no glowing fingers on these bastards. We've got a bunch of extraterrestrial psychopaths on our hands.
While they're still talking, Barry wanders right into this jump scare. He escapes, but don't look now, there's a gang of sensibly dressed aliens on his tail. It's nice they all wear a uniform. He manages to give them the slip and hunkers down in this empty building. Meanwhile, Derek's calling in the reinforcements. Frank and Ozzy are on the way.
Come in, Frank. Ozzy, you there?
Frank here's a real stickler for the rules.
Yeah, we're here, mate, but could you use a proper call sign?
And man, you know that car just totally reeks of pot and B.O.
He's got a point there, Frank.
While this is going on, Derek drops another bit of exposition on us.
We've caught one of the bastards.
And after some more jibber-jabber, we also learn this.
We're a government department, not a paramilitary unit.
Yeah, the Astro Investigation and Defense Service.
That's right, their organization's acronym is AIDS. Derek heads down to get a better look at the captured alien, and surprise, it's Peter Jackson too. Look, when you're making a low-budget movie, you often have to play a lot of roles, literally, in this case. After they sign off, Frank says what we're all thinking.
Christ, what a dog. How the hell did he get in this team?
Since Frank and Ozzy aren't here yet, Derek's gonna kill some time by torturing his captured alien friend in order to make him talk. Meanwhile, Barry's surrounded by aliens. He makes his move, but he's a little caught up on other stuff. And now that they know he's in there, the aliens are gonna use this improvised battering ram to bust down the door. These Jehovah's Witnesses sure have gotten pushy. You're getting a copy of Watchtower whether you like it or not. Back up on the hill, Barry's like, your soul is mine, as he makes his point right in the alien's arch. The good news is this causes the alien to go all Ozzy Osbourne and bark at the moon, which draws the other aliens away from Barry.
Derek!
The bad news is they're now headed for Derek, and it's hammer time. Speaking of hammer time, Derek's still up here giving other Peter Jackson the galaxy's worst foot massage. Barry manages to call ahead to warn Derek about what's headed his way, but Derek's not having it. And then we see why he doesn't run. It's not because he's a chubby little nerd, it's because he's got an Uzi. He proceeds to ventilate this dude, who also serves as a very handy gun mount and meat shield. He's out of ammo, so he has to pull some cool parkour moves and fall back. Very graceful. Eventually, he winds up on the edge of the cliff, where Babe Ruth here tries to knock him out of the park. He's hanging by a thread, but then finds another clip for the Uzi. That's what I call using your head. Rearmed, he manages to take both out, but the other Peter Jackson is broken free and sends him careening down the cliff. See you next fall, Derek. That's gonna leave a mark. Hey, remember Frank and Ozzy? Yeah, they're still in this movie. They're sealing off the town. Sure do hope they get to do something eventually. From there, we jump to this seemingly random dude, Giles, who's shown up to collect donations for the less fortunate. Something tells me he's not on the up and up. He eventually stumbles across Peter Jackson, who's having a little head cheese for lunch, but doesn't want to share. But hey, Giles looks pretty tasty, so Jackson gives chase just to get a little taste. Dude makes it back to the car, but if you guessed it wasn't going to start, well, no screenwriter's credit for that because it's obvious. Luckily for Giles, it does eventually start, and he actually escapes. No idea where this particular storyline is going, but I'm hoping it gets to wherever it's headed sooner rather than later. Back with Frank and Ozzy, Ozzy's doing a little reading. Hey, I only check it out for the articles, I swear, mate. Frank, meanwhile, is hard at work on some new lyrics for their next power ballad. What do you think of Love Gun for the chorus? Too on the nose? Barry's off to check out this house, and lo and behold, here's Giles. Probably just here to sell them Amway or something. But hey, maybe our plots are ready to hook up. He's all like, hey, can I take a moment to tell you about this exciting business opportunity? And Chef Peter Jackson's like, nope. We then jump inside the house, where the chef is prepping this guy for lunch. Just gotta let you marinate for a bit. Don't get all stressed, it'll just make you stringy and gamey. Then Boss Alien shows up. This guy is like the Kiwi Colonel Sanders.
I suppose you're wondering why you're soaking in Reggie-delivered secret herbs and spices.
Hey, remember Derek? Well, if you thought he was dead, there's no screenwriter's credit for you. All told, he looks pretty good. Well, except for that gaping head wound and some missing brain. I'm no doctor, but this seems like it could be a problem. Not for Derek, though. He just smashes the gooey bits right back in there, good as new. Doctor? Who needs a doctor? Back at the house, Frank and Ozzy have met up with Barry and they're running a little reconnaissance. Derek, meanwhile, is busy looking for something to hold his brains in. And what better accessory than a top hat? I mean, it's no fedora, but I guess it'll do. Outside, Ozzy and Frank are basically the Kiwi version of Sam and Dean Winchester as they pull an arsenal out of the trunk of their car. Back inside, we get some more exposition.
Welcome, my friends. The job is almost done. We take off for home tomorrow. I'm sure you'll be pleased to be leaving this shitty planet.
Back outside, it's apparently Ninja O'Clock as the guys prepare for go time. They solid snake their way inside, and man, someone must have fired the housekeeper.
My God!
What the?
My God! The blood!
Clearly, the USDA's authority doesn't extend to New Zealand because there's no way this slaughterhouse would pass inspection. At any rate, Barry's OCD kicks in and he's like, here, let me tidy up a bit. They must have spent the film's entire budget on cow and sheep brains because it seems like no one could afford lights for these scenes. Cleaning time is interrupted when this alien wanders in, but he gets some sweet chin music from Dr. Broom, then Sub-Zero delivers the fatality.
Just clean it, but...
The head's still alive, but the extra point is definitely good. With an extra blue shirt lying around, Frank has this brilliant idea.
What are you doing, Frank?
I'm gonna go in there and find out what the hell's going on.
Then we head back inside for more exposition.
I am certain that when the Homo sapien taste takes the galaxy by storm as it will, Crumb's crunchy delights will be back at the top.
So basically, the aliens are here to turn us into the intergalactic equivalent of Big Macs. Now you know how the cows feel. And clearly, this upcoming victory calls for a celebratory feast. Frank gets to be the bowl bearer while the meal is prepared. Looks delicious, and kinda like Reanimator reagent. And now we come to one of Bad Taste's most infamous scenes. With the gruel prepared, it's time to feast. Everyone's gonna have to partake of the communal bowl. A perfectly balanced blend of liquid and chunks. Chef's kiss. Judging by all the burping, this place is definitely getting a 5-star review on Yelp. Frank slides down to the end of the line, but there's nowhere left to go. Bottoms up. Oh man, this stuff is great. The subtle bile undertones really bring out the flavors. Downstairs, Giles is still stewing in his juices, but Barry and the guys show up to rescue him. They make their way back upstairs, but great. Not only is this an escort mission, but now it's a stealth mission too. This is the worst Ghost Recon game ever. They retreat back into the house, but they're spotted by this alien dude, who they eliminate with extreme prejudice. So much for the stealth mission, I guess. Man, this New Zealand version of John Wick looks kinda cheap, but I dig it. Fun fact, all the guns in Bad Taste were made by hand from various tubes and wood. They look pretty convincing, all things considered. Anyway, Ozzy and Giles wind up in this room, but they're not alone. Can I get you a drink, man? We've got blood on tap. Hey, remember Derek? He's still in this movie. His nap is rudely awakened when he gets turd-bombed by this Gaul. Damn birds. He drives off, and I can only assume that means he's headed back for the main plot. Back at the house, everyone's working on their synchronized death throws. Tighten up that roll, Tim. This is no time to get sloppy. Man, 1980s Call of Duty definitely looks weird. Frank's under siege. No, not the Seagal movie. He's taking fire. And really, I think yard work would be a lot more fun if we all did it with machine guns. He returns fire, and look, all the alien fruit is so ripe it's falling right out of the tree. Ozzy and Giles are eventually confronted by Chef Pete, and we're treated to this breathtaking fight scene. Man, I haven't seen fight choreography this great since Drunken Master 2. Things look bleak as Ozzy's in the full Nelson and Chef Pete has brought a foreign object into the ring. But in typical WWE fashion, it all backfires. Chef Pete's partner's got no guts. Then it's off the roof to end this hell on a balcony match. Don't look now, but Derek's finally here. But before he can join the fun, he loses his hat and his brains again. No worries though, this improvised head tourniquet will get him back up and running in no time. Good as new. Well, except he stepped on his brain. Not sure if the 5-second rule applies here or not. Turns out it's all good. That wasn't the part of his brain he needed to drive as he hits this alien and turns him into a hood ornament. The alien is half the extraterrestrial he used to be. The good news here, Derek's got a chainsaw. Wonder if we'll see him use that later. Back at the house, Barry finds himself under attack, but he goes all Danny Trejo and buries this machete in the dude's skull. That might require some stitches. He's not done though. Robert tries to take him out with the machine gun and gets a machete in the throat for his troubles. Stick around, pal. While that's going on, alien Colonel Sanders is transforming into his original form like a Resident Evil boss. Man, look at that thing. How awesome is that? God, I miss the days of old school latex practical effects work. Nowadays, someone would just make that alien with a computer. Also, I like how everyone essentially gets ass implants as part of their alien costume. Very Kardashian-esque. Now it's time to run through the jungle with the aliens in pursuit. They eventually arrive at the car. I call shotgun and make their escape. Well, at least they try to. The Ford takes some damage. They're forced back on foot into the woods. Hope there are no cannibals out here, when Ozzy decides to work on his Chippendales routine. Actually, he's just gonna stay behind to slow the aliens down.
What's up, Oz? You go on. I'm gonna go back and stop those bastards.
What a hero. On the way back, he's gotta stop by the car and pick up this loot box. Hope there's something good inside. Sweet, it's a rocket launcher. The aliens clearly don't like cock rock, but that's okay because they're about to go up in flames. Frank takes off to join Ozzy, leaving Barry and Giles on their own. The aliens are ready to head home, but Kiwi Rambo here is like not so fast. I'm no contractor, but I don't think that's how you do demo for a home renovation. Oz and Frank then head inside to kick some alien ass. Frank with a pistol, Oz with his 2x4. Hacksaw Jim Duggan approves. And don't look now, but here comes Derek with his chainsaw. Could we finally get the New Zealand Chainsaw Massacre we've been waiting for? Fingers crossed. Oh yeah, that's it. Toby Hooper approves. Then, to top it all off, Derek finds some alien brains to replace that bit he lost earlier. Hey look, recycling is important. Go ahead, just mash it in there. And if you wanted more chainsaw action, you're in luck. Derek saws this guy's head in half. Frank and Ozzy flee, but Colonel Sanders takes out Oz's legs. That's a shame, because he'll never dance again. No worries though, Frank's got the rocket launcher. Well, no worries unless you're a sheep. The boss alien flees for the control room and prepares to launch his ship. I've heard of astronomical housing prices, but this seems ridiculous. As he prepares for takeoff, Frank has to save Oz from being sucked into the engines. The ship launches, and man, that effect shot looks great. But Derek's still on board. The alien phones home, then heads out to deal with Derek, but he gets the upper hand and carves the guy up like a Christmas goose by diving through him with the chainsaw. Gooey. Then he says what we're all thinking.
I'm born again.
Hooray for symbolism. But how's he gonna get home? Oh, he's not going home.
I'm coming to get you, bastards!
Back on Earth, Barry and the team reunite and ride off into the sunsetty credits. Bad Taste was Jackson's first feature film, and while it's a bit rough around the edges, there's no denying it's a kooky, splattery good time. It's often hard to reconcile that this is the same guy who made Lord of the Rings, but honestly, give me low-budget splatter Jackson over big-budget spectacle Jackson any day. It's also safe to say that Bad Taste isn't as gory as Dead Alive, but can it still earn a 5 barf bag rating? Let's go to the Gore Card. In terms of gross anatomy, Bad Taste serves up some delicious splatter. We've got heads chopped in half, oozing brains, barf eating, a New Zealand Chainsaw Massacre, and that amazing rebirth scene. Jackson's special effects work is utterly charming in a low-budget way, and there's enough splatter here to earn Bad Taste 4 barf bags out of 5. Looking for more gore from south of the equator? Then check out my review of Aussie horror flick Wolf Creek. You'll find a link to it on the screen. I'll meet you over there. Until next time, I'm Mike Bracken, aka the Horror Geek, bringing you all the splatter that matters.